Hello, thanks for stopping by the channel. Today I have for you a stack of PC game pickups. These are some things I've collected over the past couple of weeks. A friend of mine gave me a whole stack of games, and then I found some games donated at my local recycling center, and then I think I bought one out of this list. So let's get started. Actually, first I want to talk a little bit about something I ran into recently at a flea market. In the early to mid 2000s, they changed the way they were doing PC games, and they come on cases kind of like this. This is a game that I've owned for a long time. This is Alone in the Dark, not particularly good, but it's important to look at this type of case because this was how cases became when they were selling PC games in the like I said, in the mid 2000s. If you get a game like this, if you run across one of these in a flea market, I don't want to say you shouldn't buy it, but you probably shouldn't. I've never seen one in the wild that was cellophane wrapped, original from the factory. They're always opened. If they're opened, you have to assume that they're used. If you open this up, there are two places really to look. Usually there's an insert of some kind, but the insert is usually the manual. So if you look at the back of the manual, you might find a code. This is a key to use to activate the software. If it's not on the back, it could be on the inside flap of the manual like this one. If you can open a game and see this code, it's probably been used already and you can't use it. So this was copy protection for them. This is what allowed you to install a game locally and play the game. And if you use that key, somebody else could not use that key. I can't say this is for every single game. Like, this one suggests that it just needs the key to install. I'm fairly certain that is a key to activate. It's just really difficult to take a chance on a PC game from this era. If it's in the mid-90s, that's a different story. Those games ran off of the CDs themselves, so you wouldn't really download it to your machine because your machine didn't have a hard drive that could store this much data. Therefore, the protection was in the fact that there was a disk. And it was also before they had the ability to copy disks. Anyway, there's still a bunch of good stuff out there. A bunch of stuff I have here does not appear to need codes, which is great. The first one is a game called Nexus: The Jupiter Incident. This is a game from Sierra, and I'm a fan of Sierra games. This was probably one of their later games before the company closed. 2 discs, CD, we're talking early Windows type of stuff. Looks pretty good. Comes on 2 discs. This is the type of game that used a lot of rendering and a lot of fancy video type of stuff. Be happy to give this one a try. This is Aura Fate of the Ages. This is a game from the Adventure Company. I did a couple of games from them on the Nintendo Wii recently. These games tend to have rendered backgrounds. They're usually pretty detailed. And it's an adventure game. It's you sort of poking around trying to figure stuff out. We're sort of in the area of the game style of Myst. Back in 2000s, Myst came out, it was very popular, and it led to the next game, which is a game called Siberia, which was a game that was also very popular in the same vein. Fantasy, adventure type of stuff. You're figuring out puzzles, that sort of a deal. Game called Mystery of the Nautilus. This is a Jules Verne-inspired type of a game. Same concept as these other games, just the setting is basically under the ocean. So, I like the property. Give it a try. Schism: Mysterious Journey. This is another Adventure Company game. There's a theme here. Whoever's collection this used to be, they were into this style of game. Because now I got them all. I have no idea what the background is on this one, but it also leads to the Mysterious Journey 2, so I've got the sequel as well. Multiple disc games. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of video and a lot of rendered backgrounds. Probably some OK music as well. The Omega Stone Riddle of the Sphinx 2. Well, if it's Riddle of the Sphinx, it's Egyptian themed. There's probably going to be some sand involved, and we're trying to figure out something. You have to give this one a try. This is an interesting one. It's called Campaign: Tactical and Strategic War Simulation. This appears to be a World War II strategy game. This one is still for sale on Amazon. I found a third party selling a copy of this game. It looked like it was in a sealed box. I know nothing about it except that tactical war games were pretty popular in the 90s. When I was in college, there were a lot of these. Have to give this one a try. It boasts thousands of different vehicles in different real-life settings. So this would be curious to see how this one runs. Age of Mythology. I know this is a popular one. I've never really played it, but it's one of those sort of strategy growing type of a game, if I recall. This one is called A Brief History of Time. I don't think this is actually a game. I think this is something that was shipped with, like, I don't know, an external CD-ROM drive, perhaps. This would not be uncommon. Back when that technology first came out, They had a lot of external drives before they had internals. And they were new. So what did they need to do? They needed to sell the hardware and include with it software and something that made it useful, right? And what did CD-ROM immediately give us? It gave us a lot more space than we had on our normal hard drives. And it gave us the ability to look at motion video. I imagine this is some sort of a lecture about Stephen Hawking discussed theory or subject. Have to give it a try. Very interesting. But I'm pretty sure this is one of those things that came shipped with a piece of hardware. A disc of Doom shareware. This is a piece of history. Back when this first came out, this is I think 92, when this was released, this was their marketing tactic. They will ship shareware discs to people. Or you could pick them up at stores, I suppose. Just the opportunity to play 1 or 2 levels to see how awesome the game is, and then you go out and buy yourself a copy. And this type of marketing really worked for them. I mean, this property still exists today, and it's fantastic. So whoever came up with this idea to do it in a shareware form, good for you, kudos. It really worked. Got a copy of Roller Coaster Tycoon. I've played this one before. I played this one back in the 90s, and I loved it. Build your own theme park, make a roller coaster, you can buy different rides, you sell tickets, you change the prices, the different weather matters, how many people you hire to run the park, how much you charge for hot dogs, stuff like that. Very cool to play, a lot of fun. Addiction Pinball. This is a game I don't currently have, but I've got a lot of reviews of different pinball games on the channel, so I'm always happy to try a pinball game. I find that it's a type of game where you know what you're getting, and when they do it really well, it's a lot of fun. So we'll have to give this one a try. Some staples here. The reinvention of Frogger in the 90s. Never played it, but now I got the disc. Same goes for the game Q*bert. Never played the reboot here, but I'm going to give it a try now. Worms 2. I know Worms was popular on a bunch of different systems. Never played a Worms game, but we've got 2. Have to give it a go. The Atari Arcade Hits. This one, it boasts being like a really great collection, but there are only like 4 or 5 games on it. So I don't know what they're filling up the rest of the disc with. These games are not particularly large for sure. Last game I have is called Gnome. This is a game that I know absolutely nothing about, with the exception of the fact that printed on the CD itself is a mech with 2 Gatling guns. Seems like a good premise for a game to me. I will have to give it a try. Well, that's all I got today for PC pickups. Thanks for helping me get through the stack. Hopefully some of these games pan out to be pretty good. We'll have to give them a try, and thank you for stopping by the channel to take a look. I will catch you on another one.